All right, today I'd like to talk to you about some of the things that we use when we get stuff signed. There's a lot of different things, and we will show them to you right now. The first thing we use plastic pages. We put them in a binder here, and in the next video you can click on a link at the end that will show you how we make the pages. We like to use these pages, and there's a reason why, but I mean it's not perfect, it's not foolproof. Some people use photo albums. We put the pages that we put in here. We normally have our pens that we like to use. I like to use a Bic round stick fine point for signing baseballs. And this one, the signature, the blue doesn't really bleed on it here. It's a nice firm signature. If you use one that's not a fine point, it has a problem with bleeding on the ball, and it doesn't look as good. So I like this pen. They're really hard to find right now. I have a problem finding these. So if anybody knows where we can get some Bic round stick fine points like this, I'd appreciate knowing. We use a blue Sharpie. This is a fine point, not an extra fine, just a regular fine point. We prefer this on our cards. The grandstand cards, you don't need to rub down, but you need to rub down some of the choice ones. So if you're, if you have a choice between making a manufacturer using a grandstand or choice card, I prefer grandstand because they're hit and miss on choice, whether you have to rub them down or not. Rubbing them down takes a lot of time, but you can use this pen on the grandstand cards, some choice cards, and then like Topps Pro Debuts, you can use them on. You'll have to rub down the cards with a Bowman, and when I mean rub down, use like a white eraser here. You can get it at any Office Max store, and you take it and you gently rub down the card. I'm gonna rub down this Bowman right here. Sometimes you need to rub these down, but you just take this. You take the I'm using a Bryson Brigman card, one of our favorite players. You take it and you just sort of lightly rub over it. If you have to rub a glossy card down so it will sign better, and then we generally just blow it off, and then then we'll take a towel or something like that. In this case, I'll take my shirt and I'll wipe it down. So that's how you rub down a card. Another pen we use is this Staedtler. Comes out of Germany, and this one right here, they brag about how you can leave it uncapped for a week and it'll still work and stuff. This one has a nice point, and it seems to work well on some of the glossier cards. It's still a good idea, we found, to use the white eraser and rub it down if you're not sure. If you start to see something signed, it's sort of frustrating because if you start getting stuff signed and you haven't rubbed them down, all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, this choice card needs to be rubbed down, so you have to start rubbing your choice cards down or something like that. Then it's sort of a hassle. But I mean, we use this. It's always good to have a yellow Sharpie or yellow highlighter in with your bag, bug out bag, or whatever you want to call it, your autographing bag. So these things work well, and we'll get a little bit more into this a little bit later. When we're putting cards in, sometimes we use this X-Acto knife. We'll lift up on the corner pieces of these right here. These are photo corners. These are ones we use. We probably need to throw those away, but you peel them out of here. You can get these at Michael's craft stores. And when we put a card in a page, sometimes we'll have to lift up on this so the corners don't get damaged. And then after a while, eventually, that you can just sort of slide the cards in there with ease. But I mean, it's always good to have one of these X-Acto knives with you. If you're traveling somewhere and going to an airport, you can't take one with you, and they'll throw it away. So you'll have to get one at the local store anyhow. We also like to use these boxes right here. I like to use the 100 count boxes. That way you're not fidgeting around, trying to cram cards in a small box like this 50 count box or whatever it is. If you get a 100 count box, you got room to breathe and stuff. So I like the 2-piece ones like this. There are other boxes that are hinged. You can slap them together like this. The problem is the hinges break off, and then the cards slide around and fall apart. So these boxes are sort of like these have to be Ultra Pros, 100 count 2-piece box. If we're getting books signed, like our prospect handbooks here, Sometimes we will go through and stick a piece of yellow sticky notes in there. Maybe we'll write the number of the player down or the player's name, put it on the page where we want to get signed, and then we can just close the book up. If you know anybody at Baseball America, I love these Baseball America books. The problem is you tote these things around and you get these signatures in there. You're like, oh, I met all these prospects. I'm at like 50 prospects this year. And then, then all of a sudden the corners start getting jacked up. So what Baseball America really needs to do, Baseball America, if you're watching, you need to come up with a hardcover version of these books. So these books are great, but the soft cover ones, they don't look very well. This is a 2013 book. I might as well show you a couple other ones here. 2014, they get all jacked up. So, all right. Next, we're going to talk about, we decided we're going to a game, so what we'll do is we'll print up the rosters. This happens to be the Clinton Lumber Kings. Printed on both sides. And this was the Kane County Cougars. We went to a Clinton Lumber Kings Kane County Cougars game earlier this year on August 17th. So we print out a roster page for each. Then the next thing we go through in the process is we see what we have for cards of the managers, pitchers, players, coaches, and stuff. And so we type their name in. Generally, we'll have an idea whether we have some cards of these guys or not. So we'll type the name in online. Maybe go to Beckett.com, and you can see if there's any cards out there on these guys. Sometimes I go to eBay just to type in the name, see if there's any names, any cards that I recognize that I might have. And then we keep one of these in here, and then we will put this in our binder like this so we can see it. But we like these binders with a front cover and back cover. So we'll generally put the visiting team on the front and the home team on the back. In this case, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just showing you here. So we slide them in like this. Then the next thing I go through in the process, it is very time consuming. So we've got the rosters in there for both teams, home and away. The next thing I'll do is I'll type up the names alphabetically on a sheet of paper. I'll type up the names alphabetically. Okay, the date, where we're going, names, numbers, positions. So I sort of have an idea whether a position player or pitcher. And then if I got some other stuff I want to get signed, this is the whole roster generally. And then like tickets here, 4x6 photos, 8x10 photos, and then baseballs sometimes. I type it out like this. I will take this page right here and I will fold it in half. I like to stick it in here so I can still see the roster, because sometimes once we print these rosters out, like if we print them out early in the morning and type this stuff out, by the time we go to the games, the rosters can still change because they change on a daily basis. We weren't getting many cards signed by the Clinton guys this day, but we were getting some cards signed by the Kane County guys. So I'll highlight the guys that I have in my book, and then once I get them signed, if I get something signed here, I'll put a little line in there, like this Marcus Wilson. I had him sign a card, so I cross his name off. If a guy's not here, I'll put an NH for not here. Sometimes I'll cross it off, but I prefer to put not H just so I know that when we were going to the game, this guy was here, this guy wasn't there. So then I will fold this, put it in the back page, like so. We'll just pretend. All right. And then pretty much the last thing we do when we go to games is, this is what the yellow highlighter is for, to highlight these guys, by the way. And then after the game's done, we will print out a copy of the box score like this. One page, front and back. We will slide it in an Ultra Pro Platinum page. And then we will take our ticket stubs and put it along the back here. So we've got the box score, the ticket stub, and we'll put it in a binder for the games that we went to. And in a nutshell, that's pretty much the process we go through when we get the stuff signed. Like I said before, you can click on a link and we'll show you how to make a quick page here on the next video. We'd like to ask you to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, to keep collecting, and God bless.